Hi guys, my name is Blessyn Kure and welcome to VKSS. Well, today we are at the Yaradua Centre, which was dedicated to Shehu Musa Yar'Adua by the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Foundation in honor of the life and legacy of a foremost contemporary leader in person of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. And this was put together by the friends, the family and associates of Shehu himself, who have aimed to see that unity, good governance as well as social justice is served in Nigeria. That's basically what the foundation stands for. And this wonderful structure right behind me contains years and years of Nigerian history, which normally is not so accessible. But today you have the privilege of joining me to explore the museum, to explore the library, as well as this phenomenal bridge that tells the story of the life of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua from start to the end. So I hope you enjoy this ride and you learn a thing or two about Nigerian history. Let's go. Accessible, and even the entrance, I will have to comment whoever designed it. It's very visually accessible. This is all rich.
So, before we go into the talk, we start with a little background on Nigerian history, the amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorate in 1914 to form the country Nigeria as we have it today. This is what we had: Nigeria, three regions: the Northern region, the Western region, and the Eastern region.
Okay.
We have our founding fathers, or our first leaders, as we call them. First, we have the Western region: Bafemi Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello, Sodino Sokoto. We have Nnamdi Azikiwe, first president, parents of the Akintola Akintola, who took over from Bafemi Awolowo when he wanted to contest for presidency. And we have, then we were doing presidency. So we only wanted to go to the center.
Yeah.
Then we have Michael Okara, Premier of the Eastern
Nigeria
region. Shehu Musa Yar'Adua was a minister for Lagos Affairs and also a member of the House of Representatives in the First Republic. And that's when Shehu took interest in politics, having witnessed his father discuss so much about Nigeria's unity, independence, and all that. So he took politics. He actually took interest in politics. So it was father. His father was actually a teacher before converted into politics. Was the beautiful thing of the teacher say reflects in the life of both Shehu and his younger brother, Okay, over here we have his father, Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. We have their mother, Haja Dada Yaradua. Over here we have the late president of Nigeria, Musa Yar'Adua. And we have Shehu. So you can see that Shehu was much older than him.
Okay.
We have his school uniform, Katsina Provincial Secondary School, where he started his leadership journey. He was a house captain while he was in school. We have an interesting picture here. In between Shehu seated here and this white man, we have the person of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes, I can identify him.
Yes, they were classmates, good friends, joined the army around the same time. Okay. He was into hockey, football, and very athletic. We have this lovely wife, Binta Yaradua. He married her just before we started when we were technically in crisis, during that period, and wanting to be cool, the 67. Actually, I think coup started in 60. Was it 64, 65 before we got the...
Well, the whole turmoil system from independence to...
Biafra
a lot happened
and all
in
that. So
decade.
he didn't get to enjoy his honeymoon, as we would like to call it. But he went to the barracks. He was called back not too long after he got married to report for duty.
She's
He had
beautiful.
his children.
She's very beautiful.
We had his children, 8 of them. I think in total they became 9. There was one more. I don't think she's Spanish. She's not in this picture. One more. On to him.
Okay, the father was the Matawale Katsina.
Yes, he actually was Tafidan before he was
Matawale?
moved to the position of Mutan. So she took over that position.
Yes, his titles are.
Joined the Nigerian Military Training College, which is currently known as the Nigerian Defense Academy,
NDA.
where he also displayed his leadership ability, being a platoon commander. He attended Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, UK, which is one of the top military training colleges in the world. Also, Command Staff College, Quetta. Okay. But what distinguished him among his colleagues was the role he played in the Nigerian Civil War. As we know, the war started in 67. Started in 67 with the Declaration of Biafra. That's May 30th. The Declaration of Biafra 67 ended in 1970, January 15th. He led the troops that captured Onitsha. Now, capturing Onitsha boosted the morale of the Nigerian army and later led to the end of the war. Onitsha was a stronghold of the Biafran troops, and capturing that alone was actually a big victory that led to the end of the war. We have his personal diary. He kept during the war. Before, this is the notes he put down before capturing Onitsha. So you have Wednesday, 20th March. I made my plans and gave out my orders for the capture of Onitsha. I must say, becoming critical, and I have to capture Onitsha and link up with the 7th Brigade. The rest things will be awful. This means I have to personally lead the advance from now on. There are some military jargon.
Documented.
68 battalions started the advance at 0700 hours, followed by 66 to 68 of Brigade Headquarters, Ogidi but capture Bell and Onitsha. Here we come. Thursday, 21st March, Onitsha.
That was the next day.
He led the troops that captured Onitsha after 2 failed attempts. And they were actually instructed not to make another attempt. But he saw it that capturing Onitsha was key to ending this war. And he felt that if things were done properly, they will be able to capture Onitsha. So he chose to lead the team. And that's why they were able to secure that particular victory.
And this is totally unrelated to the tour, but Suzuki, this is free. When they say and advertising Suzuki, this is free luggage carrier. Oh. This is interesting. So this is from 1970, January 14. Impressive to see how many years Suzuki has been in Nigeria.
Really?
Yes.
So, as we know, the war ended, no victor, no vanquished in 1970. Peace was restored back to Nigeria. Told you they were good friends.
They were good friends. I can see a picture.
Muhammadu Buhari and Shehu. We still have, we have General Hassan Katsina and Murtala Mohammed and Shehu here.
Okay.
Then we've seen his attire.
You've seen his attire. I think I'll take a picture of it.
Okay, another aspect of Shehu's life that is quiet is the role he played in the bloodless coup that brought Murtala Mohammed into office. Now, many people refer to the coup as a Murtala Mohammed coup, but it wasn't he who planned or executed that coup. That coup was done among the Lieutenant Colonel cadre, and Shehu actually led that coup. But it was the vision of that coup was not to seize power to themselves. They noticed that after the end of the civil war, the then head of state, for good reasons, felt that handing over to civilians was going to be premature. So he declined the date. He cancelled the date he initially set to hand over to civilians, and it was indefinite. It didn't go down well with Shehu. He felt that under a military administration, senior officers were saddled with the responsibility of leading the nation, meaning they had no time for their primary responsibility, that's running the military, leaving it for junior officers who lack the skill and the experience to do so. And apart from it destroying the military profession, it was also affecting the nation because senior officers were now engaged in corrupt practices and all that. And so he wanted a case where they can restore power back to civilians. And that was what informed this particular coup. As we know, General Yakubu Gowon traveled out of the country. He went to Uganda, Kampala, for a OAU summit. While he was there, they sent message that they've taken over power. He shouldn't come back. He's been stripped of his position in the army, forcefully retired, and he should not, as it were, interfere with the government of the day. Murtala was given the position to head the new government. He set a date, October 1st, 1979, to hand over to civilians. And he also stopped the ostentatious lifestyle of military officers, trying to be prudent. And that actually cost him his life because he said no more motorcade and all the flamboyancy that goes with being in power. On his way to work 6 months after he was sworn in, or he took over power 6 months, he was assassinated on his way to work. An attempt was made on his chief of staff, like General Olusegun Obasanjo.
And fix the face.
Obasanjo escaped that particular attempt, and he was able to round up troops. We can trace a lot of development in Nigeria to the military administration. So you have the Warri Port, you have the Ring Road, Lagos, Jeba, Road Bridge, Kwara, we have Kata Bridge, Lagos.
Steel plant.
Data Steel Company, Alaja, currently shut down. Shan River Dam. Okay, then Tinkan Island, Lagos was actually a pet project of Shehu when he was Commissioner for Transport under Murtala Mohammed's short 6 months administration. We was saddled with the responsibility of decongesting the ports, and that's what bettered what we have to be as Tinkan Island. Yes.
Okay.
We have Operation Feed the Nation, diversifying the economy from oil to agriculture. You can see Obasanjo showing.
A country which cannot guarantee the full and free development of its people cannot aspire to greatness. Enugu, who said that? Shehu said that. Okay.
First article, which holds the Guinness Book record of the largest gathering of the black race till
Wow.
they've not had any place in the world.
First Seven is legendary. I just didn't know it was
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. They also went around establishing diplomatic ties around the world. You can see them in Zambia, Tanzania, the US, with Jimmy Carter, the Chancellor of Germany, Philippines, the UN, China,
China,
Iran, Saudi Arabia, Jamaica, and all that, Cameroon. And if you notice, they were mostly on civilian attire, not their military attire. Okay, they also worked on the local government reforms, as it were. It was to bring the people closer to, bring the government closer to the people. That was what bettered the local government as we have it today. Now, they had challenges when they were trying to set up local government in Nigeria because the traditional rulers wanted to be sure that it was not going to undermine their authority as traditional leaders, having a local government chairman and all that. Him being a son from a royal family, was saddled with the responsibility of interacting with the royal fathers to allay their fears and let them know that all is well. It's not to take
all is built around
traditional
local relations.
Yes, that's that's one of our identities.
Yes.
That is passed to the country. When the state government can actually take the royal seat from you, you can, what can you do? What can I say? So you have, okay, the person is old, so you have a lot of people, currency. This is when we actually started the Naira notes. We were using the pounds as at before the war and during the African war. In this when we moved to the Naira.
I love collecting old notes. Personal curation of old Nigerian notes and coins I have in my archives. So this is interesting.
You know, old is relative. Because now the new coins is old. Because people don't have the coins. We no longer use them.
1970s.
Okay. The one from the 70s.
60s and 90s.
Okay, they also worked on the 79 Constitution, which is the foundation of the 99 Constitution, currently under review. October 1st, 1979, and his vice chief, Alex Ekweme. We actually lost both of them same year, 2019, with Alex Ekweme, January of 2019, and
Shehu Shagari.
December of that same year.
Saturday.
Okay, so let me turn on this.
Okay. So it's fascinating to see Nigeria through the eyes of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. Although history and historic documentation is relative, again, which is why I said through the eyes of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, versions and tales and stories change and vary, but this is one account. Hopefully we get to experience more accounts and see it through other people's lenses to be able to form our own perception as to what happened and the way forward for Nigeria as a country.
Like I said, his father was elevated to a position of Notawani while he took over his father's position as staff leader because he distinguished himself
as siblings.
Okay, so okay, I don't know, I attended that things.
Okay, Turakin Adamawa Atiku Abubakar.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of big
Palace guards, yes, the colors stand out.
Always.
Dogare. Their kings are very painful.
Okay. We have some of his businesses that actually thrived, some of them failed. Among the ones that are still in existence, we have the Habib Bank, which have moved from the Habib Bank to PHB, currently known as Keystone.
Oh, okay.
Then we also have his cultural services and logistics, which we know as Intels. Articles Intels.
Okay.
Articles.
Oh, okay. I just saw
okay. So, but especially this, as at the time they did this Intels, okay, as at the time they had this supply basis, it's a logistic company, ocean logistic company. There were no indigenous logistic company.
So they were about the first?
They were about the first in Nigeria. And the idea was to have a Pan-African firm, something that can stand out, because then we had all the white companies
coming in and taking over the businesses.
So he wanted us to let's have something that we can call our own.
Okay.
I didn't include this. One of the policies of Obasanjo and Shew's administration was Africa. Their foreign policy was Africa, to get every African nation out of colonialism, and also to fight for South Africa, the struggle for apartheid, the apartheid struggle.
This is regal.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan of Zubis, and Zubi is like the traditional weaving, the detailing and the stone. It's impeccable considering the years and the fact that it's still glistening. The fabric, I can imagine the hours that were put into this, as well as the kaftan's finishing as well. The quality of fabric is. So this photo, interesting. Outfit in this photo is this particular one I was just talking about for the detailing. Still as magnificent as ever.
This year we got the idea for that great stuff. Now, after Shehu left office in 79, there was another in 83 that got current president, then head of state, Muhammadu Buhari, came into office, and there was another coup that was in 85 had brought in Babangida. Shehu witnessing this coup, he wasn't happy because he felt democracy is like a child. In one of his interviews he granted, he said democracy is like a child. If you give it time, it will grow. And the fact that this young democracy has been terminated with a military coup means that we have to start all over,
Right,
start the
raising that
process
child.
all over again. It's giving birth to a child, a fresh child that we have to start nurture. So he, that's what actually informed him going into politics.
Okay.
So we had the People's Front, we had the PDM, but
SDP.
Babangida wanted Nigeria to run a two-party state. Technically, we're still running a two-party state, but he wanted Nigeria to run a two-party state, the SDP and the NLC, which was intended to actually divide Nigeria along regional divides. Obviously, the S for the south and the N for the north. So NLC to represent the north, SDP to represent the south. But Shehu moved his political movement into the SDP, converting it from a regional party to a national party. And so he was able to bridge that gap of religion and regional bias and sentiments by having a party that represented the whole of Nigeria. Okay, so he, like I said, he went to a more aggressive position as a result from primaries before he was back from politics. He went into a more aggressive position. Okay, many people don't know this. King Adamawa, Atiku Abubakar actually contested for presidency under SDP.
In 93? Oh.
Yes, but MPO Abiola emerged the presidential flag bearer for SDP. He didn't scale to the primaries as at that time. And it's interesting to note that today we celebrate June 12th, and if you ask the current generation, why do we celebrate June 12th as a Democracy Day? The first thing you get is the death of Abiola. Like, Abiola didn't die in June 12th.
Fair, we could do more with the Nigerian history and retelling it.
Yes, we need to let them know why. Yes, Abiola is the face of June 12th election, but the June 12th being Democracy Day, but June 12th being Democracy Day is because it was the first time, and many people will see, arguably, that is the only time that we've had a free and fair election, because we voted for our conscience based on the manifesto that was delivered to us, not thinking about sentiments of religion or regions. We had two Muslims, MK Abiola and his vice aspirant, Baba Gana Kingibe, vying for a position, and both Christians and Muslims came out to vote them massively. That election was annulled. The pressure that was mounted on the then head of state, Babangida, led to him leaving office for an interim government, which ended up in another coup that brought in General Sani Abacha. Abacha wanted power for himself at all costs, and so he had a careful scheme to transit from military head of state to civilian president. So he did the constitutional conference, and in Nigeria, when we have constitutional conference, sometimes the idea is not to hear what the people have to say, but to actually just pay them sitting allowance so that they can recount. So with all that, Shehu stood up on the floor of the constitutional conference and demanded that the military government put a date that they were going to terminate their government and hand over to civilians. You know that well with Abacha. And so Abacha had a clean skin. The show was arrested. Okay, Abacha panics. Yaradua arrest. Sentenced to death at first, and Obasanjo life imprisonment, but that death sentence was reduced to a life sentence, and Obasanjo 25 years in prison. Yeah. Okay, so while Shehu was in prison, we lost another great man, person of Kensa River, and all he did was to lead a protest. The same protest that the government of today credits itself for flagging up the Ogun cleanup. it was same Ogoni land that was being destroyed due to oil exploration that he stood up for, that landed him in prison and death by hanging. Today in Nigeria, we have a lot of people leading protests all over. We have from the Red Card movement, Bring Back Our Girls, Enough is Enough.
And these are the
generation, what's your reason? All of them.
So these are the founding fathers of protest.
He did that. It wasn't a career.
It was just something he did for his people.
Today we have career activists. It's their job to be activists, but he wasn't a career activist. He did it for his people from his heart, and it landed him in cell and death.
Eventually, he died.
It can't happen in a democratic Nigeria. We have cases where they've picked up leaders of different groups. You can't sentence them to death without fair hearing, and that fair hearing has always stopped them from being sentenced to death. We have even the IMN leaders still very much alive. We have Nnamdi Kanu. No matter how you say, you can't just sentence him to death. And that's what Shehu was fighting for. He wanted a democratic Nigeria where the people can speak their minds and the government has no choice than to listen and cannot unnecessarily oppress the citizens outside the law. The rule of law must remain supreme. That's what he was going for, and that's why he was fighting for a democratic Nigeria. We have some postcards that were sent to him while he was in prison. We also have letters that he wrote out of prison, the one to Akin, his friend. He's also a member of the board of trustees, to make sure that they reply all these postcards, because he wanted the people that sent these postcards to know that he was doing well, even though he was in prison. His fate was not wavered or any grounds of intimidation from the government of the day. He wrote this letter to Jimmy Carter, and this letter actually shows his heart even while he was in prison. I'll just read the ending part, which we have here. It says, Mr. President, my country is today in the grip of a very big and inept dictatorship. Its one viable institutions are being destroyed. In the face of all this, one's personal problem appear inconsequential. In short, Mr. President, much more than General Obasanjo and himself, Nigeria needs saving. Please help save my country. Sincerely yours, Shehu Yar'Adua. We have his surah recites and his prayer marks.
I ask you mercy, which you guide my heart, by which you reveal my integrity, by which you help me recover myself from confession, by which you keep trials away from me, by which you restore my piety, by which you protect my interior and elevate my exterior, by which you purify my work, by which you give me honor, by which you inspire me with my right cause, and by which you guard me against every evil. O God, give me a sincere faith and certitude, which admits of no return to unbelief. Give me the compassion by which I reach honor of receiving your grace in this world and the next. O God, I submit my need to you. Verily, my intellect is weak and my artifice small. My work falls short and I am in need of your compassion. Glory be to him who counts everything in his knowledge. O God, give me a light in my heart, a light in my grave, a light in my ear, a light in my eye, a light in my hair, a light in my skin, a light in my flesh, a light in my bone, a light in my bone. Behind me, a light to my right side, to the left side, a light above me and below me. Give me more light, make me light. This is very profound. Abu Hamid Mohammed Al-Ghazali. Okay. 54. He did all this in 54 years.
Yes, actually less, because he didn't start when he was born.
Okay, yes, he did all that in less than 54 years.
These are some newspapers.
Talk about this. So my attention caught this painting because it looks like shadows of people standing in white, and I was told that at a point in this video that is playing on the wall, giving a very vintage feel, there's a particular portion that has people lined up and then the imam saying a prayer over the body of Shehu. And I mean, this, apart from the architecture generally being very captivating and well thought out, I love buildings, and you already know, so the artwork and the attention to detail at every point tells the story completely for me. Okay. This is a lot of newspapers.
Okay. This letter he wrote to his son before he died, the year before he died. his son Buhari. He named one of his son Buhari after current President Muhammadu Buhari. He named another Murtala after Murtala Mohammed.
They did have very close-knit friendships.
Okay, so I'll just read this letter. This is an abridged version of this letter. Say, letter from Abakaliki prison, 12 September 1996. My dear son, you see, Buhari, I'm today in prison not because I want political power to be president, as most people think. I do what I do because I love you, because I don't want my children to grow up in a country that has no future, a country that you cannot be proud of. You see, my son?
This is the exact
point. This is it.
Wow.
That's the exact point. Because I don't want my children to grow up in a country that has no future, a country that you cannot be proud of. You see, my son, like, maybe the person is not in if he has no pride in himself. I'm sure you understand I'm not talking about the pride of the ignorant. I'm talking about the kind of pride that comes as a result of achievement and inner strength, kind that makes his possessor humble. I would not have achieved anything if after I'm gone, all I leave behind for you are empty houses and some bank accounts. For these are nothing. They can be acquired by any idiot. I want to leave for you something you can be proud of. A legacy of public service and sacrifice, which will influence our country for good, which you will be proud to inherit and which I will be proud to pass over. I love you, Daddy. And that was the heart of Shehu even while he was in prison. A year after Shehu passed, Abacha also passed on. He died. Democracy was restored in 1999 under his former boss and business partner.
It's the transparency for me, because on the other side of the wall, the board of trustees as well as the financial committee is written, and then here we have the center's contributors, 1 million and above grants. Okay, let me start from the part, like 10 million and above gold, 5 million and above silver, 2.5 million and above bronze, 1 million and above. Still bronze, very long list, 1 million, and including anonymous contributors were listed. So this is dated to 2002. Quite transparent, I would say.
Okay, so now we have the unfinished bridge.
The unfinished bridge.
This is Nelson Mandela.
Oh, commissioned it.
Yes.
Wow. A patriot. This center is dedicated to Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, a patriot with courage, compassion, who sacrificed his freedom and ultimately his life, that our country might be free. 4th March 2000 by President Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, Vice President Chantu, and His Excellency Nelson Mandela.
Also, I thought President for Ghana.
Commission. This is 2002 again. So it's about 20. It's about 20 years since it was established.
Actually, it's now 20 years this year.
This year. 20.
That's actually this week, Thursday.
Oh, well, very, very timely. This is. So this goes round.
Yes. Yes, we'll quickly
for the story.
It's to represent his life and works. He started like any other person from the ground. And when you notice, as we go higher, it expands, just like his vision and his reach expanded as he went higher. And all of a sudden, it ended abruptly, like he ended.
And
yes,
slowed down.
And that's why it's called the unfinished bridge. So, yes. Then from here, you can see the natural sports. Also, the sea.
He was very passionate about his faith. So you're right there, you can see from the center. Okay. There is no slope. It doesn't become narrow again like he's catching up with age. It just stops at this point. That's this point.
That's when his knife was correct for shot. 6'7". 9'7".
7. Known as the bridge builder, the unfinished bridge is a symbol of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua's life, work, and legacy. As the bridge rises and widens, so does his accomplishments in military, the government, business, and politics. Shehu Yar'Adua believed in a common purpose for all Nigerians. He succeeded in establishing the first truly national grassroots political organization devoid of ethnic bias, religious, or regional sentiment, which was the SDP. Tragically, however, his life was cut short, and so the unfinished bridge stands as a reminder for the need to continue the struggle for unity, for fairness, and social harmony throughout the country. The axis formed by the beginning and the end of unfinished bridge points directly to the National Assembly, a symbol of the nation's democracy. We can't see it because more buildings have sprung up, and the trees, we're supposed to be looking at it this way. Okay, thank you. For those wondering if this place is free to get into, yes, it is free and it's open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. all through the week. I had the assumption, or I was under the impression that you had to pay or it was closed off and you couldn't access the space. Turns out I was wrong. So you can come here to experience history, and also you're allowed to take pictures. I got permission legally to get this video done. So you have to do that if you intend to make public videos, but for pictures, you're allowed to make pictures. And most importantly, it's not about the person of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua that is being portrayed by the foundation. It is about the life of service and honesty, transparency, unity that he preaches, as well as good governance. So that is what the center represents, is to give the younger generation a hope to do better in future. So it's like the acts of service, just like how the bridge truncated, the bridge stopped and it's supposed to be continued, and hopefully we, the younger generation, will continue that.
In a bid not to infringe on the privacy and peace and quiet of the people using the library, we were unable to go inside to see what it looks like. However, we're in luck because we were able to find an Instagram account called See Abuja, which had visited this particular library and documented in details what the library looks like. Although the museum is open to the general public, the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Centre library has a membership fee. There's a 15,000 naira fee per year. It's a pretty cool library and really affordable if you ask me. It gives you access to lots of books on leadership, on history, on politics, as well as a cozy and quiet ambience for you to get your work done. On the day we went, it was packed full. So yes, I believe it's in high demand, just as See Abuja has said. If you'd like to know more about the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Centre, you could visit their website, yaraduafoundation.org. You could have access to home, the About Us page, the board of trustees, their programs, the facilities, and we came to the public library, but it was packed full, so we decided not to record anything there in a bid not to infringe on the privacy of the people using the library. However, you get a list of all the books available in the library and also how to join the library. So you just simply come to the Join Our Library, you see the requirements, you see what to expect, and you also see that you're supposed to pay a fee of 15,000 naira for a span of a whole year. 15,000 naira per annum seems like a fair compensation for the value you will be getting in exchange. So according to their website, they have 4,308 books currently registered, and you can have access to all this at the library. If you have specific authors you're looking for, all you have to do is peruse here to see if they have it, and then you go on. If you have categories as well as title. The website is pretty user-friendly, so if you have other inquiries, there are definitely numbers you could check. The Join the Library, you could request a tour, you could book their facilities, or follow them on social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Thank you so much for watching up until this point. With this, we have come to the end of this very insightful tour, I must say. This room here is where his life ended. Very emotional, with a page in the mural that represents his burial, and so far I have learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed seeing the bridge that represents the struggle to continue, as well as our unity and diversity as Nigerians, living a detribalized life and ensuring that our identity as Nigeria shines through. So come your way next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Again, thank you very much, Andy Chantu, which is Cineman, for being on the camera. Don't forget, I'll link his videos or his channel and his work in the description. So come your way again. Bye.